Sawadee Krab and welcome to another episode for the Wrestling Wednesday here on the Fun Kid Pod. It's the weekend. You know what that means. We look back at what happened at AW Dynamite, now also AW Rampage, obviously, and WWE Smackdown. Let's jump right into things and discuss what happened, what did we like, what didn't we like, and that it all makes sense. So with Dynamite, we start, of course, MJF backstage giving Wardlow like his prep talk, kind of like, if you don't get a job done, so you better get a job done. So this shows us, A, of course, I mean, he tries to hype Wardlow up, but also B, the relationship between MJF and Wardlow, obviously still boss, employee, and so on, right? Like leader, follower. So it's not like they're going to have their back forever. So there's still the potential, not immediate, but down the road, we would understand why Wardlow wouldn't stick maybe with MJF forever. All right, so the first match that we saw was the trios match between Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks versus Matt and Nick Jackson, the Young Bucks, versus Dante Martin. That made me excited because he was really good here. And the other brothers involved, the Seidel brothers, which are also Matt and Mike Seidel. That was pretty cool. So I like Matt Seidel anyways. Evan Bourne, right? Great high flyer, but also great mat wrestler. That's what JR says every time. Mike Seidel also pretty decent, but Dante Martin was stealing the show here, obviously. He was so close to finishing Kenny Omega, but then Kenny Omega hit a few V-triggers and whatnot, and the One-Winged Angel, and then the Young Bucks. Also with the finishing maneuver, so just to finish off Dante Martin, and down Callis, because they hit him like after the pinfall, they hit him with like the Young Bucks finisher, and on the commentary like, why do you do this? And Don Callis just something like along the lines of, he deserves it because he was daring to compete with them, something along those lines. So that makes sense. Brandon Cutler, awesome as always, in between with the cold spray as soon as like one of the Jacksons or Kenny Omega was outside of the ring. I like it. A, it was a great showing for Dante Martin. B, the storytelling in regards to how the group works makes sense. What didn't make sense from a storytelling point of view to me was why this match happened. But then again, maybe we are supposed to believe that AW is like, I want to fight you. Okay, let's go. Then again, it's Kenny Omega and the Young Bucks. Why would they accept such a challenge? That's the one thing that did make sense. So I really enjoyed the match. Dante Martin was awesome. Matt Seidel was great. But why did they fight? Like, what's like? So that's a bit the storytelling aspect that I didn't quite understood. Then later and afterwards, Christian Cage. So while they're still in the ring, right? The Young Bucks and Omega still in the ring. Christian Cage comes out. Now, of course, and he's like, yeah, I'm here, but before he even starts, Don Callis is like, look, we are like 10 people here in the ring, exaggerated. You're one. Like, what you gonna do? And then music hits, Jungle Boy comes out. Oh, everyone's singing along. Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus. So Jurassic Express is there. So now there are 3. The others are still like 10, according to Don Callis. So I don't know how this should help them. But apparently, having Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy in there is enough to keep the rest away. Okay. So then, like a little bit back and forth. And then Christian breaks the news that he talked to Tony Khan and he will face Kenny for the AEW World Championship at All Out. But before this, he will also face Kenny for the TNT Impact Championship this Friday on Rampage. And of course, Kenny Omega loses it and like, oh my god. Then before they walk out, Jungle Boy is like, hey, oh yeah, cut the music. By the way, I also talked to Tony Khan and he said that next week on Dynamite, we, Jurassic Express, gonna face you, Young Bucks, for the championship titles. Woo, and then again, oh, it's music and everyone is happy. So, few things here. A, great matches, should be fun. Nice. B, so you can just go to Tony Khan like, hey Tony, I think I should have a championship match. Tony Khan is like, sure, let's do it. Like what? This I talk to Tony is like lazy storytelling, lazy matchmaking. Right? So I talked to the boss, he said it's okay. It's like, I asked my mom, she said it's okay. What? That is weird. So I'm happy about the matches, of course, but again, there is no conclusive story behind like why. I mean, if they have their rankings, like Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega for the AEW title ranking, he's undefeated, even though those fights were like, yeah. But okay, but like then just use the rankings as a reason, and not just like, by the way, Tony said. It kind of feels like Tony is always on the side of the good guys because he wants to be a babyface, but shouldn't he be like unbiased as the owner? Anyways, then we see another video package of Miro, God's favorite champion, and he's saying, Fuego del Sol, this Friday, Rampage. Cool. I like Miro. I like Fuego del Sol. Who doesn't like him? Sign Fuego. But why? Miro, God's favorite champion, the Redeemer, is only getting, I'm sorry to use this word, cannon fodder. Like, no real challenger for him. Like, why? Why is no main event star challenging for the TNT title? It's like, makes it slowly feel like an undercard title. Do we want that? I'm not sure. So here again, that storytelling thing that I've been on for so long. Speaking of storytelling, Darby Allin versus Red Death, Daniel Garcia. Of course, Darby Allin and Sting, and Daniel Garcia with 2.0, Jeff Park, Matt Lee. Yeah, I mean, I'm not the biggest Darby Allin fan, but I mean, he plays a great role in like getting beat up and then overcoming the odds and so on. It's nice. Sting got involved, of course, on the outside, which is nice. Then also later on, after the match was over, after Darby Allin won with a coffin drop, of course. Then they tried to attack on the outside, and Sting got really physical on the outside with some suplexes. So nice. Sting, you still got it with 60-something years. Again, biggest issue is like, why is this match happening? There should be some, like, I don't know, some reasoning behind why they fight. That's the thing that I miss from Lucha Underground. In Lucha Underground, at least they had some vignettes or something that would explain why those people fight each other. And here's like, go. After that, we had another trio match. We had the Best Friends, Chuck Taylor, Orange Cassidy, and Wheeler Yuta versus the Hardy family, also Office, Matt Hardy, and Private Party, consisting of Isaiah Cassidy and Mark Quinn. Good match again. Of course, Orange Cassidy, awesome as always, with a few orange punches in between. Of course, the Hardy family office wouldn't fight a fair fight. It broke down at the end, of course, and eventually it ended up with Wheeler Yuta being in there, running into Matt Hardy basically, and Matt Hardy twist of fate, and the victory then for Wheeler over the Best Friends for the Hardy family office. The match was fine. I mean, of course, I like Orange Cassidy's moveset because it's like fast paced. Even if you wouldn't think it, the rest, Wheeler Yuta is, I think, getting better every time he's out there, which is also nice. He's got this wrestling school flair to him, though, which maybe is something that they learn, and then he slowly has to find like his own groove, I assume. But he'll get there eventually, I believe. Okay, then we had the Galaxy's greatest alien, Chris Statlander, with Orange Cassidy, and the native beast, Nyla Rose, with Vicky Guerrero. That went nowhere, right? The Vicky Guerrero, Nyla Rose, that wasn't really a big thing now for very long. So, yeah. Yeah. I like Chris Statlander. I also like that she has some really cool offensive moves, that she's flying around and stuff like this. Luckily, she beat Nyla Rose and might be in line for a championship match rather soon, which is cool because, as I said, I like the way she fights. So well done here. Nyla Rose needs to work on the technique a little, I think. Afterwards, we had Tony in the ring in Pittsburgh with Dr. Britt Baker. Exactly. And it's just cool, of course. I mean, hometown hero is always easy to sell, of course. It was just fun. Britt Baker running down her opponent for Friday, saying like, I'm here in Pittsburgh, and there's no chance anyone's gonna beating me here in my hometown. That was nice, of course. Everybody waving the shirts. That was well done. Yeah, that's what they should have done. Was good. And then we had the Impact World Tag Team title match between the Good Brothers and Evil Uno and Stu Grayson. And one more time, I have to ask, why? Okay, kind of see why, but I should explain it. Like, I mean, of course, because they're always clashing, and then so they want to face like Evil Uno, Stu Grayson. They want to face the Good Brothers, but they should be like explained a little bit better, I think. Colt Cabana was out there too, by the way. Like, hey, Colt. Yeah, that was. I mean, of course, Stu Grayson went like at it right away, like before the bell or with the bell. He like going right at it at the Good Brothers, and they had some nice offense in there. But eventually, of course, the Good Brothers too smart, outsmart them, and then hit the Magic Killer to take home the victory. Then Tony is in the ring again. It was like a Tony show with QT Marshall because he thought QT Marshall would apologize to him, but of course he didn't. He said, "You should apologize to me." And then he stunned, I think. First he slapped and then he stunned the son of Tony Schiavone. And Tony was like, "No, no, no." And then you hear the music and it's, "Hey, it's the big Paul White coming out." So yeah. And then Paul White just choke slams one of the stooges of QT Marshall. All right, fair enough. Will we see now Paul White in the ring? Or is it just like, hey, we're friends, don't mess with him? I'm not sure. But okay. Then we went on to the 5 flavors of Jericho. Chris Jericho, Wardlow, and of course MJF at ringside. Of course, this would break down eventually, right? Yes, and back and forth, and Wardlow dominating for a while, Chris Jericho fighting back, Wardlow dominating again, and MJF trying to get involved, trying to throw the ring in. So then MJF trying to throw the ring in, kind of like acting like he would do it. Aubrey Edwards, the ref, sees it, discusses then like, hey MJF, you're out, and so on. And then Wardlow turns around, and then while they discuss, Chris Jericho is on the floor of the ring, grabs Floyd. Hey, Floyd is back, and then rams Floyd into Wardlow, and so picks up the victory. So, hey, 4th labor won. 5th labor will be against MJF, and MJF says the stipulation is nothing Judas. So no Judas effect, no Judas music, no nothing. So if he hits the Judas effect, he's disqualified. Understand what he's doing, but that's not really a terrible stipulation. I mean, he has so many other offensive maneuvers, and the music is cool, but I mean, shouldn't he have said something? You can only wrestle with one arm, or like you have to have one arm tied behind your back, or something like this. Like, MJF, that was not smart. Storytelling again. He's usually so smart, but now not that smart. Overall, it was a fun show again. Last week I said I'm going to focus more on the storytelling part. That's why I use this word here 1,000 times. Because this helps me to see whether or not it's actually a good show. So the matches were fun, but then the connections, right? And it's still okay, I think. We still see progress in the important matches, but like in the less important ones, could be a bit better. Let's see how this worked out for Rampage. So first Rampage show on Friday. 3 matches. That's nice. Like it's like all like condensed. Like 3 matches. That's pretty cool to watch. First match was Christian Cage versus Kenny Omega, as announced by Christian Cage for the Impact World Championship. Cage won in the end with his finishing move on a chair. Chair got introduced by Young Bucks, of course. But then while the referee was busy like, kicking them out, Christian used the chair to his advantage. He countered Kenny Omega's attempt to use the chair, and that's how he picked up the victory. Well done, makes sense. First Rampage show, title change, makes sense as well. Now Christian Cage has the titles and can say like, hey, I want the other titles too. Kenny, I'm coming for them. You see, I can beat you. That's exactly what happened afterwards, right? Christian Cage celebrating, interviewed by Mark Henry. He's like, hey, I love you, man, Mark Henry, and we know each other for so long. And then he's like, it's going to be tough. But you see, it's possible. He knows it's possible. Kenny Omega knows it's possible. I'm coming for the other belt. Makes sense. I'm happy with this. Match was decent. And Christian Cage isn't the youngest anymore. It was a decent match. Even hit a spear, and everyone was like, oh my god, because he won his last match with a spear, right? But it wasn't enough. So that was well done. Storytelling there. very close call there. Nice, good job, well done. Yeah, let's move on. Then Miro versus Fuego del Sol. And if Fuego del Sol would win, he would get a contract for AW. And Fuego del Sol started like crazy. Like even before the bell rang, he was Hurricane Runners and whatever on Miro like crazy. Then the bell rang and he continued a few more of those. Fantastic. But then eventually he would jump from the top rope and of course Miro would catch him and then just punish him for like a minute and then just sink in the accolade and win. And then he tears up the contract. Makes sense. What didn't make sense is then Sammy Guevara coming out, best friends with Fuego del Sol, and Tony Khan smiling, Tony Khan hugging Sammy Guevara, giving him a paper, and you know what's going to happen now. Sammy goes to the ring, says, hey man, even though you lose 5,000 times, you come here every week, the fans love you, so here's your contract. Then why do we have a stipulation that says you need to win to get a contract, then he doesn't win, and then he gets a contract right away anyways? I understand the feel-good moment, but then leave the stipulation away. That doesn't make sense. Now everyone knows stipulations in AEW don't matter. That was not good. And I love Fuego del Sol, but then I'm happy that he signed. But that stipulation was not good. Leave the stipulation out. Then main event, Britt Baker versus Red Velvet. Red Velvet, I think is really underrated. I mean, she was in a championship match, but I think she's really underrated. She should be on the show more often, like on TV more often. She's really good. Brought a fight to Britt Baker, but of course the hometown hero here in Britsburg. Eventually was too much for Red Velvet. There was also some smart back and forth, and then she couldn't use her finishing maneuver because her arm was broken or still fractured or something. Then she used the other side, and Red Velvet tried to use the lockjaw first but couldn't do it, and then Britt Baker used the other side to sink in the submission and the lockjaw. So that was nicely done. I appreciate that. I like this. Then afterwards she punished her a bit more, and then we had like this, I forgot that lady, her new friend coming out and helping. So that was all smart. Also storytelling wise, very much appreciated. Makes sense. Well done. Good job. Short show on point. Well done. I like it. That was good. Also storytelling made sense here, except the stipulation AW. Okay, what happened on Smackdown then? Smackdown, it was the first 22 minutes was Roman Reigns, John Cena promos. And the promos were like 3 minutes of it were fire. Like John Cena saying like Reigns ran out Moxley and he almost out of WWE, Dean Ambrose. He used the name Dean Ambrose, and he cost Seth Rollins and whatnot. And then Reigns said like, yeah, 20 years of missionary for you were like enough for you, but not for Nikki Bella. So, some burns there. Nice, but 20 minutes. They just kept running their mouth at each other. We need this kind of, but also not for 20 minutes. And that's how it started. And it ended with a contract signing. And Pat McAfee on commentary is like, those always go well. And of course, it didn't go well. In the end, there was, of course, Sasha sinking in her bank statement on Belair with her own hair. We know what this means, right? What else did we have? We had the Intercontinental Championship, Shinsuke Nakamura versus Apollo Crews. Shinsuke Nakamura won. I mean, he had the Rick Books guitar playing thingy again, but got ejected. Same with Commander Aziz. And then when it was one-on-one, Nakamura kind of clean. Kinshasa, that's it. I mean, nice, but And then we had the Street Profits back in action because now they want all the smoke again versus Alpha Academy. It was nice, but I mean, we see that all the time. And here, okay, the storytelling is they hate each other, so they go at each other. Yes, but eventually we need to move on from this. It's like, do you only have 4 tag teams right now? Because the other tag team match was the Mysterios again versus Rude and Ziggler, and of course the Mysterios win this one again. But then the Usos watching on like, yeah, and then telling them, we gonna beat you up at SummerSlam. Okay, we have 5 tag teams, I'm sorry, but it feels like we see those matches every single week, which is just, Lastly, We also saw Kevin Owens with Baron Corbin because Corbin was begging for money again. Owens says, okay, we have a match now. If you beat me, you get $1,000. If not, you stop begging for stuff. Of course, Owens would beat up Baron Corbin. Baron Corbin loses. Then backstage, they try to interview him, and then he sees the Money in the Bank briefcase from Big E being on a table, and he just grabs it and runs away. Yeah, we know in WWE, just like John Cena, you can just slide in, sign a contract, and then have the championship match. Pardon me. So apparently you can also just steal the Money in the Bank briefcase and then just cash it in. Michael Cole said it's not possible, but it's WWE. Let's see what I do with this. This is stupid, it's lazy, super boring storytelling. I don't like it. I don't like that Kevin Owens is involved in this because I like Kevin Owens. So that wasn't that great. Were there any matches actually? The matches, Street Profits, yeah, okay. Mysterios, yeah, okay. Oh yeah, we also had Seth Rollins promo, but I'm not even going to talk about it anymore. Like this drip thing is just annoying to me. Unfortunately, I mean the promo of Cena and Reigns makes sense. The storytelling makes sense, but it took way too long. Sasha Banks, Bianca Belair, they have chemistry in the ring, but I don't think that they have chemistry promo-wise. Bianca Belair is not that great as a promo so far, I believe. So, not the biggest fan here. Yeah. What I'm a bigger fan of, though, and I thought about it for a while, should I talk about those things? And now let's just talk about it because we focus on storytelling and so on. So let's look a little bit outside of just those shows. So if you look at content that's being put out by the wrestlers themselves, for example. And a few do a really good job. And if you're into AW, you probably follow Sammy Guevara's blog. You follow The Elite, I assume. Maybe you even listen to Chris Jericho's podcast. And if you're a hardcore indie fan, you probably know and love that Danhausen. I didn't talk about it for a while because I thought like, is it too indie? But doesn't matter actually. And now that he's featured more frequently with the Murder Bird, the Murder Hawk Monster. His nickname for the Murder Hawk Monster is Murder Bird. I think let's just bring him in the spotlight a little bit more as if he needs it, because he has his own show on YouTube, of course, and he's been on oral sessions with Renee Paquette, like I think a week or so ago, or 2 weeks even, or however long ago, a month. Time is nothing during the pandemic. But yeah, so check out Danhausen, Danhausen, like a German house, Danhausen, because he's awesome at what he does. Almost always in character. I only saw him once out of character on Chris Van Vliet. Other than that, always on. Fantastic dude. Good in the ring, but the chemistry with the audience is awesome. His persona is fantastic. Very good, very evil. Check this out. You will, if you don't know him just yet, you will fall in love right away. Why do I recommend him? Because he's always K-Fab is alive. He's always with his persona. He puts out content regularly. Very funny content, very good, very evil content, and just sticks to like his mantra, which is nice. So check out Danhausen. I think I'm going to transition this podcast slowly into a more focusing on storytelling and how wrestlers use different kinds of media. The one criticism that I have of Danhausen is that his camera is like a potato. That's a thing that we say in Germany. Did you record it on a potato? The quality, Danhausen, you have an assistant. Your quality could be better. The camera qualities, cameras that come from hell are not great, but you could work on this. Anyways, check out the Danhausen, more on like storytelling, media creation from other wrestlers and so on soon. I'm still structuring the whole podcast thing a little bit, but you can look forward to this if it's something that you're interested in. That's it for this week. Don't forget to always kick out at 2. Let me know what you thought about this week in wrestling, AW, Smackdown, Rampage, Dynamite, and so on. Or if you loved it, Danhausen. Other than that, take care, stay safe, and I'll see you and talk to you rather soon. Sawadee ka.